And we are back with another edition of the weekly kickoff. It is Monday. Can you believe it? We're back here again and in a great profit. Team Bankroll, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Great stuff. And listen, we've already got 20 people watching, which is waiting, which is fantastic. But for those who are joining us for the first time, I'm going to introduce our panel. We've got Alex there. Give us a wave, Alex, from Need for Tips. We've got Big Man down there, Big Man on campus, and we've got Martin Green. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Very well.
Excellent.
Just got all our money just lying out, and we're just going to dive into it like Donald Duck. That program.
Well, I have to say, Martin, man of the hour, you're up 10 units or something, I believe, this weekend. And overall, what is it, 35 units or something? You are on a roll. No wonder you're flying all over the place. Every time we speak to you, you're in a different country. You're just flying around with all that money, aren't you?
Couple more weeks and I'll move to the Maldives. Internazionale beat Atalanta for me. Moved me up to about 38 units of profit overall, which is great. Did well in La Liga this weekend, which was very good. But overall, just delighted to see that the whole team is flying and we're making a lot of profit. So very happy.
We are indeed. The whole team is flying. Listen, I'm going to pull up the stats now for our viewers so you can see how we're doing. We've got two shows where we tally our stats, our bets. The best bet show, which is on a Thursday, and then Premier League punters, which is on a Wednesday. So there we have it, 80.8 units on the best bet show, and then Premier League punters 48.7 units. We've got 4 tipsters on each show. Me being the presenter, so 3 tipsters and me. I do add in my bets as well. So if you come and join each show, we then break down how each tipster is doing per show. So I hope to see you Wednesday and Thursday as well. We will also start doing a round of 16. We'll start then tallying also our Europa League and our Champions League bets as well, also with World Cup when the next round commences. So do stay tuned, follow our bets. First thing I want to talk about is before, if anybody wants to add some extra bets in for this weekend, is obviously the Monday night matches. And we were just quickly talking before the show started, was the Premier League match. You said you live right by Brighton. It's cold, it's wet, it's damp. Martin, have you got any bets for that match?
It's a horrible evening here in Sussex. It's going to be even worse down on the south coast. I've got some friends that are going to the game and they're dreading it. The wind is driving in, the rain is pounding, very treacherous conditions. And I think that Brighton have a really solid defence so far this season. They haven't conceded many goals. And as the home team, you'd really expect them to dictate the tempo of the game. So I was looking at a low-scoring affair. I was going for the under 2.5 goals in this game. I think that looks a good bet. Stoke don't show a great deal of ambition going forward. Neither team has got a very good out-and-out striker up front. Stoke's top scorer is Peter Crouch, who's 37 now, I believe, and generally plays on the bench. And the same is true of the home side. Their best striker, also mid-30s and very rarely starts. So I think there's going to be few goals in this game, and I'd be looking at under 2.5 goals. That was my bet earlier in the week.
Yeah, if you guys watch Premier League punters, that was also my bet. As Big Man as well, you were going for the unders.
Yeah, I actually have the combo bet, draw on the under 2.5 at 3.6. I'm really feeling good about that one, especially after the weather report there from Martin Green. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 0-0 game here, frankly. I know I'm taking a little bit of a step out, but like he said, I mean, most of the, Peter Crouch, he comes in at like the 70th minute a lot of the time. Brighton, all they try to do is defend, try to gain points. They're actually been a really good defense side. They're Middlesbrough to a T last year. Couldn't score a hack, but they could sure defend. I'm going to take a shot here with the, the under looks great, but I'll up my profit a little bit, go draw on the under 2.5, hope for a 0-0 or at worst a 1-1 game.
All right, so going for that draw as well. I believe Flash was on the Stoke win. Alex, can you shed any light on your bets for this match?
No, Premier League Mondays, I never bet on Premier League Mondays. The weather will help for sure for the guys to have the under 2.5. I think it's a 0-0 type of game. but I'm passing it. I think that also big man will win it. Also Martin will win it. I'm on the other two matches from Serie A and La Liga. Both of them over 2.5 goals. Verona versus Bologna and Eibar versus Betis starting in 40 minutes, the first one.
You're going for the over 2.5 goals.
Yeah, on both of them. You might combine them for a bigger odd, but keep the stakes low, as Monday action is never the most profitable day of the week. But the weekly kickoff is the most profitable day of the week, because if you are starting with the weekly kickoff, you are starting good your week.
Yeah, exactly. Martin, just quickly, Stoke, again, back to the game. Are you siding with, just looking at the comments here, we've got James Stacey, Stoke tonight is the value. Have you got a lean on the outrights at all? Obviously, big man's going for the draw. We've got Flash, who on Wednesday was going for the Stoke win. You seem to say that Stoke won't come out of the park. Which way would you lean on the outrights?
Flash always goes for Stoke. I think he's a closet Stoke fan. It's really, really difficult, that one, because, I mean, Stoke they've got more Premiership experience. They've got greater financial firepower. They've got a bigger wage bill. On paper, they have the better team. But Brighton have been playing much better than them this season. Brighton are the team that are in the ascendancy. They're higher in the table. The only team to beat Brighton at the Amex this season is Man City. And they didn't even find it easy. They found it really difficult to break Brighton down.
That was the first game of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So they really turned their home stadium into a fortress. So for a struggling Stoke City side to go there and win in treacherous conditions like this, that would be a real shock result. I could see a draw like they're going with, but yeah, I think it's a bit too close to call, considering that neither team is particularly exciting going forward. So I'm just going to stay away from the outrights and go for the unders on the goals.
Also, if I take a look better at the betting diary, also Stewart on the best bet show is going for a Stoke win at Brighton at 3.35.
Okay, the value hunts there. We've actually got our a team bankroller watching, Stuart from Tipster HQ. Flash just loves the red and white stripes, so we'll wait and see. Big man, do you have any bets on the other matches there? Hellas Verona, Bologna, Eibar, Real Betis. You touching either of them?
No, I cannot say I am, Natalie.
Okay, what about you, Martin?
No, I'm going to stay out of those ones too, I think. Yeah, I think best to avoid them. Get ready for the week.
All right. Well, before we get to the week ahead, let's quickly recap on some of the weekend's action. And of course, Arsenal victory. Wenger is firmly in, I can imagine. 2-0 Arsenal win. What a victory. North London derby there. Spurs not even scoring. Sum up the game for us, Martin. What went right for Arsenal, wrong for Spurs? Break it down for us.
I think Arsenal just played like Spurs normally play. Arsenal were hungry. They showed a lot of desire. They pressed really hard and really high up the pitch, closed Tottenham down, didn't give them a second on the ball, forced them into making costly mistakes in dangerous positions. And it all just went right for Arsenal. I think they got a touch fortunate because Harry Kane didn't look 100% fit, wasn't really able to influence the game. And Tottenham usually have either Eric Dyer or Victor Wanyama in midfield as a holding midfielder, but neither of them were in midfield. So they looked a bit lightweight, which is where they'd normally get the better of Arsenal. And to a man, Arsenal just stood up and were counted for the first time in a long, long while. We thought it was beyond them at one point, but Mesut Ozil was the best player on the pitch. When Ozil, Sanchez and Lacazette play up front together, it's only the third time it's happened this season, but they look extremely dangerous. And if he can keep playing them week in, week out and get some consistency out of them, there's no reason why Arsenal can't finish in the top four. They've got that quality within the squad. They just need to show it on a more consistent basis. The defence was strong. I think they were lucky with injuries. They had all three of Monreal, Koscielny and Mustafi playing, and it all just went right for them, and Tottenham didn't really turn up. Maybe they're a bit arrogant. Maybe they thought they could just turn up and leave with 3 points without really trying, but they're North London is red, basically. North London is red.
Did you see Stuart's comment? A touch fortunate, he says. 2 offside goals. And then we've got James Stacey, Wenger in, Wenger out, shake it all about. Happy for you, Martin, he goes on to saying. So lots of support there. Arsenal fans probably think they're going to win the league now, says Dale 04. Do you think you're going to win the league?
No. no. Probably go and lose to Burnley next time.
Well, I was gonna ask that. See, Burnley obviously won their weekend match. That Arsenal travel to Burnley. Do you think it's going to be a tough match for them?
Oh, I think Burnley's always a tough match for anyone. They've made Turf Moor into a fortress over the last couple of years, and they've been playing fantastic football. But you know, all runs have to come to an end at some point. And if you weigh up the talent in both sides, Arsenal are by far the better team there. I mean, Chelsea could have said that as well, but Chelsea lost to them. So you never know. But yeah, I think Arsenal will finally take some confidence from that Tottenham game, and they'll just have to go and show it. I mean, it's a big North London derby. The Sky Sports cameras are rolling. The world is watching, and they performed against Tottenham. Now they need to go away to Burnley on a cold November afternoon and show they can do it there as well. So remains to be seen, but I think they'll be quietly confident.
Yeah. Well, talking of Chelsea, obviously they beat West Brom over the weekend. Tony Pulis sacked. What are your thoughts about that big man? I know we were all talking about that he was going to be out. Were you surprised by that score? Quite a big win there for Chelsea.
No, I wasn't particularly surprised by that. I didn't move on that match, but I mean, West Bromwich Albion have struggled all year. I mean, there's no real chemistry at all with them moving forward with the ball. I mean, what are they? Are they a team that just sits back and defends, or are they going to try to go forward? There was a lot of interesting points on what they were doing game to game. Tactically, Pulis just had his time there. This team's only scored 9 goals this year. They're basically 1 point above relegation. It's time for a change there. Sometimes things just get stale, and that got stale. So no, I don't think I don't think anyone was particularly surprised. And you got to look going forward. I mean, they have limited talent. I mean, they don't have high level talent here. They could be a team that might be on the outside looking in towards the end of the year. But real quick with Arsenal, if I can, listen, I'm very happy for Martin as an Arsenal fan. He definitely deserves that. I mean, the last couple of years, I mean, you look at the Arsenal, they're very much like the Dallas Cowboys. They want to continue to talk about what happened 15 years ago and realize that you're just papering over the cracks. I mean, that's all you're doing here. Arsenal is headed by a moron, and they always will be. I feel great for the fans. I shout all of you loyal people. You're some of the most loyal supporters I've seen. And being from Philadelphia, I have to respect that. We've went through it for years. So have you. But at any rate, I think it's time we stop with this whole let's win a game and everything's merry and rosy again. At the end of the day, this team can't defend. They've given up 16 goals, and to think that they can make the top 4, I don't know. I think that's a little outrageous. I mean, all the top 4 teams haven't even given up 10 goals. They need to get better defensively. They need to keep all their best players in. Don't be taking out Lacazette. I mean, you always take him out in the 70th minute. What's the deal with that? But Kolasinac's playing well. Mustafi's playing well. The team's playing well, but I have a weird feeling the manager will screw this up.
There we go, Martin. Anything to say about that?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't go so far.
Not much love coming from big man.
He's Arsene Wenger speaks like 5 languages. He's an economics graduate. He's gone the whole season in the Premiership unbeaten.
What does that matter? That was 15 years ago. He won stuff. Who cares?
He's won the FA Cup 3 times in the last 4 years. He's been a lot more successful than Mauricio Pochettino. He's been a lot more successful than Jurgen Klopp. Been a lot more successful than quite a few managers in recent times. I have my frustrations with Arsene Wenger all the time, but I think that the other top 4 teams, or the other big 6 teams, have their weaknesses too. Liverpool, very good going forward, but can't defend to save their lives. Tottenham are overly reliant on Harry Kane. Chelsea, sometimes they shock you. If N'Golo Kante doesn't play, they'll lose some games. So I think a lot of teams are going to drop points. They are the outsiders, Arsenal, to finish in the top 4, but they got a chance, If they play like they did against Tottenham at the weekend, I think they're it's not looking too bad.
If you're staying at the club 5 years, you're a good manager. If you're staying 10, you're a lot better manager. If you're staying 20, you're amazing manager. So maybe he had his time. Maybe he's doing stupidities now, but overall, I think that Wenger is one of the great managers of the world. He was big. He had a lot of success with Arsenal, and he continues to have it. He maybe has his mistake not playing Lacazette every time from the first minute, but when you have Sanchez and Ozil playing at their best level, because Ozil was the man of the match against Tottenham, everybody said that. Lacazette helped Sanchez to score that goal. So he needs 2-3 players more, I think, and I think that they will finish in top 4 again. But January
They don't
will
even
be
want to
an
play at the
interesting,
club. They don't even want to play at that club.
Well, I think they
Who doesn't wanna-
what was great at the weekend was to see that Sanchez and Özil really actually were up for the fight. Perhaps they were trying to put themselves in the shop window, trying to earn a January move. But if they can get them playing like that for the rest of the season, I don't see any point in selling them in January. I think, Arsenal have got their weaknesses, which is defensively. They look a little bit lightweight in midfield. But you put those 3 up front, they can destroy any team. If they can keep them together to the end of the season, they could get a fair few good results, I believe.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, just back here to Tony Pulis being sacked again. Just going to ask you, Alex, who your thoughts to replace him at this point, and what does it mean for West Brom going forward?
I really don't have a clue who will come to replace Tony Pulis. I think that whatever manager comes might find a really poor team, really poor performances, and he should come bring their confidence back and make something out of this team. They're not a bad team; they're a decent team. We talked about this in previous occasions, but they are missing something. Maybe the most important thing is that they sacked their manager right now. I think that it was the most clever thing to do, most ideal. It was ideal for them right now to sack their manager after 4 lost matches in a row. I think that more than that you cannot do with the West Brom. So whoever comes should work a lot to improve this team.
Sam Allardyce.
And they've got a tough match as well, heading to Tottenham next weekend as well. Any thoughts there, Martin?
It's a big gamble, I would suggest, getting rid of Tony Pulis at this stage of the season. He's a master of keeping teams up. He was parachuted into Crystal Palace when they were doomed, and he kept them up. That was a real miracle. He pulled off another miracle with West Brom when he kept them up a couple of years ago. They were in trouble, and you can see why they had to pull the trigger on him, because he couldn't really motivate the players. But it is a big, big call. I think he'll be hugely in demand now, Tony Pulis. That's his MO, keeping teams up. I think if I was the Swansea owner, I'd get rid of Paul Clement tomorrow and offer Pulis as much money as I could to get him to South Wales, because he's just very good at going into clubs and galvanising them and making them fight for survival. So could spark a bit of a managerial merry-go-round now, and it should be an interesting few weeks ahead.
Maybe Crystal Palace would just cut Roy Hodgson. Say thanks for the couple games. We need to stay up there. They have talent there. I mean, why not?
I mean, I think West Ham must be kicking themselves. They've hired David Moyes now. If they could have waited another week, they could have signed Pulis. Much better chance.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah. Another thing, obviously, we've got coming up as well, straight after this show, we've got the Champions League Tuesday and Wednesday matches. Flash will be joining us for those. Obviously, we've got Pogba and Ibrahimovic back with Manchester United heading towards Basel's game. Do you think that's going to be, obviously, they're top of their group. I think the final win for Manchester United, that will seal them winning Group A. What does this mean for Manchester United? Obviously, their Champions League match on the week on the week there.
For me, it was
anyone. Anyone?
Yeah, I think that Manchester United will focus on Premier League right now. 12 points on the Champions League. It was really important for them, Pogba to come back, most of all. Ibrahimovic, yes and no. Okay, he had months away from the team. He's a world-class player, but I think that Lukaku right now is a lot better than him. So he will be on the bench. He will come when needed, let's say. He will not like the position being a substitute, but that's all he will get from now. But Pogba is world class, and Manchester United needed him. You saw how Manchester United did without Pogba and what they did with Pogba. So yeah, he's the best news for them right now. Pogba return. I think that they will rest some of their important players in the midweek Champions League at whom they will play Basel away at Basel, yeah. And because right now Premier League is all they are thinking about and catch Manchester City. Manchester City doesn't seem to pull off the brakes. They are continuing to win matches. So yeah, this is what I think. It will be a I think it will be a weird game against Basel, but I think that the people will find out on the Champions League preview later on.
Yeah, well, talking about sort of catching up, obviously Man United trying to catch up with Man City. The same said for Real Madrid, Barcelona. Are these two sort of like chases here? Basically, have they lost the race already, even at this stage in the season? What do you say, Martin?
I'd say it's going to be very difficult for Man United to get back at this. I'd say it's going to be very difficult for anyone in England to get anywhere near this Man City team now. They just looked phenomenal weekend. That first goal they scored when they carved Leicester open, Gabriel just had a tap in, was a thing of beauty. That was the way Barcelona used to play under Guardiola. It was and then Leicester hit the post and they just charged upfield and De Bruyne banged one in from 30 yards. It was pretty electrifying stuff, and I just think they're a class of their own at the moment in England. So I don't think Man United are going to get anywhere near them. I'd say Real Madrid have a better chance in Spain, but they're not in good form, are they? I think a summer of inactivity in the transfer market could cost them. They say that if you stand still, you go backwards. Barcelona are playing very, very well. They've really strengthened defensively. I keep backing Barcelona to win 2-0, and they keep on coming in for me. I'm going to keep doing it for the rest of the season until they start leaking goals. But at the moment, they're so strong defensively. They're not missing Neymar at all. Suarez is on fire. And at the moment, they're not looking like being caught. But all it takes is Real Madrid beating Barcelona in El Clasico, seizing momentum, and things could start to shift there. So I think we might be in for a slightly more interesting title race in Spain than we are in England.
Yeah. What about your Benevento bet? I thought, didn't you back Benevento to win this weekend and they lost?
No, I've never backed Benevento to win. No, I thought
you went. Did you? You did that this weekend as well. I thought you went for them to win this one.
The day that I backed Benevento to win, an imposter's killed me and is pretending to be me. So call the police. I'm never gonna ever bet on Benevento. They are the worst team I've seen in Serie A in many, many years, and I'm betting against them every week. And 2.38 on Sassuolo, who I know they're not the best side, but they're a mid-table Italian side, and they're gonna beat Benevento week in, week out. That was a fantastic price and more profit. Great, keep it coming.
I remember last year though. I remember on the shows last year though, he hated Crotone in the first half of the season. Then they started winning. Remember that, Martin? Maybe Benevento will do that.
Oh, if Benevento pull off a Crotone miracle, it will be amazing. But
I think they can win in a couple weeks. They got Spal in a couple weeks. That might be a win.
They might get a point. No, I'm still going to back Spal. I know Spal are terrible as well, but I'm backing everyone to beat Benevento.
Do you know if there's
yeah.
I was going to ask, do you know if there's a way you can like bet if they won't win a game this year? I'd love to bet that.
I mean, yeah, certain bookmakers, you can just get in touch and ask them to take a prop bet on it, like Sky Bet does that and Ladbrokes does that, I believe. So yeah, that could be interesting.
Benevento,
they might be.
guys, but Benevento just broke Manchester United 83 years record, losing 13 matches in a row. Manchester United lost 12 matches in a row in Premier League in the 30s, if I remember correct.
I like some of these comments, and I have to read some of them. Is it gaming noobs? I wouldn't back Benevento with a line of coke down me nose. It's who in their right mind would back Benevento? And then here we go, ad hoc, who always keeps track of everything.
Wow.
Natalie and Stuart, World Cup preview of Brazil versus Croatia 3 years ago was 111,000 views, the most popular video at SBR of all time.
I was going to point that out to you.
Went viral. Yeah, me and Stu.
I was looking at that the other day.
Was there a wardrobe malfunction or something in it? Why is it?
Long time ago. I hate watching those old videos. We've been doing videos for a long time. For those who, we've been doing them. Stuart, I think, with the longest, like 5 years or something like that. We have been around doing these videos. Yeah. So thanks for that one, ad hoc. But listen, we're going to wrap things up now because we're going to start preparing for our Champions League bets. We've got tons up our sleeve. Martin, you won't be joining us, but are you looking at any matches? Have you got any early games that you want to share with us with all your profits, or you haven't thought yet?
To be honest, I haven't looked over too many of them, but I'm looking forward to the Sevilla versus Liverpool game.
He's not playing in Champions League.
Yeah, Sevilla. I'm goals on that one. It's got to be goals, aim.
Goals in the game. Yeah, it finished 2-2 between them the last time they met. Both teams are good going forwards, and both teams concede. So I think both teams to score, or both temes to score and over 2.5 goals. The Alex Classic will be a good one in that one. Classic. It's a funny time. Some teams are 1.83. Some teams aren't. So it's a bit of an interesting stage of the campaign. But yeah, there's some good looking fixtures there. Look forward to watching the videos.
All right, so that was Martin Green. We've got Big Man on Campus, Alex from Need for Tips, and Flash, who will be joining us in 15 minutes. So stay tuned for that. Go and grab a coffee, toilet break, whatever, and I'll see you again in 15 minutes, guys. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.